What is up, my peepholes? This is your guy Kalai, and welcome back to Budget Buys Budget Tubing Edition. Now, I know I spun budget tubing off into its own dedicated series quite a while back, but there's definitely a good bit of crossover in this product, and I think you'll agree with me by the end of this video. Now, before we go any further, I do want to issue a flashing lights warning, so if you're in any way sensitive to those, you might just want to sit this video out. However, when the time does come, I'll give you ample warning, so if you stick around, you don't have to worry that much. That being said, what I'm taking a look at today are the Selfie LED lights that I found just the other day at Five Below. They're from Electronic Necessities, and they're supposedly multi-white changing LEDs. And if you're going to look up any information on this type of LED product, what you're actually going to want to look for is multi-temp LEDs, because they range from what are considered cool color LEDs, which have a bit of a blue tint to them, to warm color LEDs, which have more of a yellow tint. But all in all, they are white LEDs. And supposedly, they can help you with your selfies, if you couldn't tell from the title and all of the pictures on here. Anyway, before I get any further into this, let's go ahead and change up the shot and bring out the strip, shall we? So inside the box, what you end up getting is this. The same little plastic baggie that came with the last LED strip that I talked about, and the same one you're going to get pretty much all of your AliExpress and Alibaba tech in. So, what's inside the bag is a very basic instruction sheet, your LED strip, and your remote control. And when I say basic instructions, I mean basic. It is simply one printed side, though admittedly there's not much here to tell. And as for the strip itself, it's actually quite interesting. This is once again USB powered, and what you get is 1 meter of self-adhesive, weather resistant, thanks to the silicone outer coating, multi-temp white LEDs, with 48 LEDs in total. Now, one thing they changed up between the last model and this model, which actually, if I'm not mistaken, the multicolor LEDs were actually from a different company. I could be wrong. I should go back and check the footage and link that previous video now. But they actually used some heat shrink wrap on the control circuit. So no having to worry about plugging it in properly, though if for some reason your heat shrink here does pop off, remember that the printed section is facing the same direction as the LEDs themselves. And of course, just like last time, you are dealing with USB power. So fortunately, I have a rechargeable power bank that I'll be using to demonstrate these. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. So there we go. Make sure everything's plugged in properly. Move it off to the side. Undo the kink that I added to my strip. Holy crud. There we go. And, well, it's not that impressive right now because I have my studio lights on. So let me go ahead and turn those off. Master switch is right here. And yeah, these actually throw a decent amount of light. Let's see. I couldn't light the entire video like that, but if you wanted to take these and make a ring light to use with your camera, it probably wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Especially taking into account that I actually did look into how much LED strips like this cost, meaning the ones with multi-temp lights, and you're actually looking at $6 per half meter. So 1 meter for $5 is kind of a steal, not gonna lie. Anyway, that's not what we're here for. We know that they probably throw a white light. What you want to see is the temperature. Right now, I believe I have it set to a custom preset of everything's the same, because on the controller you actually do have that ability. But first off, let's do daylight. Day looks like it has the cool white LEDs a little bit higher than the warm white. Let's do soft. And that's pretty much the opposite. The warm white is higher than the cool white. All warm, and now all cool. And of course, you can adjust the intensity as well. And back to soft. Now, if you use the little buttons right here, hopefully this is showing up in the shot thanks to these lights. Let's see, I had it on soft. Okay, let's up the cool. And now if I keep going, I can just set it to pure cool, but I kind of like having it 50-50. What can I say? There is one other function sitting on this strip, and that is the flash function. So now is the moment for anyone that is sensitive to strobing lights to either look away or skip a few seconds. 3, 2, 1. And switch it over to flashing the warm. Now, you also have the ability to control the speed, so let's up the speed. Now is when you definitely don't want to be looking, and reduce the speed. That's the slowest setting. And of course, there is also a power button. And a reset button. Let's see what that does. And we're back to neutral. Let me get the lights right on and turn that off. It is once again safe to look at your screen. Now, one more thing I want to talk about is kind of the setup for these LEDs. On the instruction sheet, which we'll see if I can get a decent shot, I probably have to tighten the shot more than I'd want to with my lighting setup right now, but they talk about how you can set this up on a mirror the easy way. They actually walk you through pinching the strip at the corner so that you can get a good wrap around a square surface. But if you're like me, you're going to do it the hard way, which is a cut and solder. So, actually, let's pull in just a little bit. There we go. Okay, that's more than just a little bit, but it serves the purpose. And take a look right here. What we have are little line breaks. This is where it's safe to cut the strip. And then, of course, you solder like to like. So negative Y to negative Y, negative W to negative W, and 5 volts to 5 volts. But, of course, if you're going to be silly like me, you might not do a basic wrap. Let me pull out one more time and show you a project that I worked on not too long ago. And that is an attempt at my own DIY lighting setup. Now, I never did make a video about this or even use this in a video because I didn't really use the best reflective paint on the back here, so I will be revisiting it. Now, I just so happen to have a compatible power cord here, so let's fire this little guy up, shall we? And of course, I need to turn off the overhead lights. But as you can see, while I never did use it, it definitely throws a good bit of light. Let's just take in. That's actually not bad. It wouldn't do much by itself, but bring in a few friends and it seems to throw about as much as the lights that I'm using these days. Ooh, let's try lighting this blue snowball. That's actually not terrible. So if you want me to do a video about how to make your own light panel, let me know down in the comments. So, all in all, I think this is definitely not a bad grab at $5, especially when you take into account the pricing that I was seeing on multi-temp interchangeable LED strips. Yes, admittedly, I wasn't looking in my normal ultra wholesale areas, but that's just because I wasn't really finding it. I had to go to specialty websites to find anybody selling multi-temp LEDs. And that was the price without the control circuit, I might add. So the fact that you can run these off of USB is a huge bonus. And heck, if you cut it and solder it, you could probably make a pretty dang decent light panel or ring light with these for relatively little investment. So yeah, definitely worth the $5. Anyway, I've got another LED strip that I found at Five Below to take a look at. So until next time, this is your guy Kalai signing off.